Let's go, guys. Let's go. Ta-da! Hey y'all, welcome back to Gaga's Kitchen. This week we are in Pikeville, Tennessee, visiting some family up here in the gorgeous mountains. And we've got an Airbnb up here, so I figured with Mardi Gras season quickly approaching us that we would make a traditional New Orleans style king cake. So if none of you have had this before, I actually was pretty surprised when I first moved to New York that a lot of people actually had no idea what a king cake was. So I'm gonna show you guys. It is a traditional, delicious treat that people in New Orleans and surrounding areas eat every year around this time of year. And I'm going to be using my old boss, Carla's recipe. She was my boss at a Portuguese bakery that I worked at in Oxford, Mississippi. We're gonna be using her recipe because her king cake is one of the best. So I'm gonna see if I can come close to that, and we're gonna have some fun while we do it. Yay! Today, or really it's nighttime now because the day always seems to get away from us here when we're on vacation, but we are using, to make the king cake, we are using Carla, my very first boss, Carla's recipe for a king cake. She was my boss at this Portuguese cafe in Oxford, Mississippi, and she did the best king cakes I've ever had. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to do it. There's a whole different assortment of kinds that we can make, but this is my personal favorite way to make it. Well, I've never actually made it this way, but I know that I like the way it tastes this way. So the first step is, this is my first time making this, but the first step is that we're going to take 2 packages of active yeast, active dry yeast, and we're gonna put that into a bowl with 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, and we're gonna mix it together. Now, she does suggest using a stand mixer, so if you have one of those, use that. If not, the second best thing would be to use a hand mixer or a whisk, but you know, this is Gaga's Kitchen. We're all about spontaneity and using whatever we have, and what I had in this Airbnb was this big fork. So we're gonna be using this. And it really, I think it's gonna turn out fine. So anyway, we're gonna start with that. I still don't really know like what yeast is or how it works. Cause it's kind of weird that like it's a living thing that we're putting in here. Or it's like a living bacteria or something, but it is what is needed to make pastry. So we're just gonna put that in here, and then the sugar is actually what activates it, I'm pretty sure, because I think it starts feeding off the sugar. Okay, so 2 of those, and then we're going to do 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. I have cane sugar here, which I believe is about the same thing. I'm pretty sure granulated sugar just means like white coarse sugar, not powdered. So we're gonna do that, 1/2 cup of this, and then we're gonna mix these together. So next we're going to add to this mixture, we're gonna do 12 tablespoons or 1.5 cups or 1.5 sticks of melted butter, and then 1 cup of milk. I'm using whole milk. If you wanna use a dairy alternative, you could, but I'm pretty sure, I think like the fats from the whole milk are gonna interact with the yeast better and everything else. I did make a vegan king cake a few years ago, and it turned out okay, but this time we're going full fat, full you know, everything just to see like what the traditional, we're following her recipe exactly. So we're gonna do 1 cup of warmed milk. You wanna warm it up in a pan first, and then we'll mix that all together. So right here I have 1.5 sticks of butter. I'm just gonna pop these in the microwave. And usually when I melt butter, I like to do it in 30-second increments. So we'll just start with 30 seconds. We'll check back in. Just keep doing that until it's fully melted. And then meanwhile, while the butter is melting, I'm going to just put the stove here on, wow, this is kind of confusing. Put this on like medium heat, and then I'm just gonna warm a cup of milk. So it doesn't need to boil, but we do wanna warm it up just because that's gonna combine better with everything. So there you go. Maybe like medium-high heat just to get things moving. And then we'll just let that cook until it's like sizzling a little bit, and then we'll add that to the other ingredients. Sorry, I was eating a cookie that my dad's girlfriend made that was so good. So my mouth is kind of still full, but anyway, the milk is steaming. Like I see steam coming off of it, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off, and I'm just gonna add it. Follow me, everyone. Add it to the mixture, as well as the melted butter. Which, by the way, smells so good. It smells like movie theater popcorn in the best way possible. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix this all together now. About a minute. You know, again, if you're using a stand mixer, it says a minute, so we're gonna maybe just do it a little bit longer just to make sure that it's all fully incorporated. This smells good. So next, I'm about finished feeding here. If you have a stand mixer, again, you're gonna leave the stand mixer on for the next step, but here we're gonna have to pause for a second because I only have 2 arms. But I've been letting the eggs sit out for a little bit. You want them to be room temperature, and we're gonna add 5 egg yolks. So next I'm going to separate the egg yolks. These eggs could probably be a little bit more room temperature than they are. They're still like kind of cold. Oops, lost a little bit of the yolk. But you know, just, oh, okay, all right, this is going in. Just do the best that you can with that. So if you can leave the eggs out a little bit longer, that's a good call. Oh! Wait, actually, I think we can save that one. Yeah, we can save this one because it actually fell into another shell. So 4. Last one. Oh my God. Okay. And 5. All right, I'm just gonna wash my hands and I'm gonna mix that all up. Also, that was your daily reminder to continue to always wash your hands before cooking and then after touching any kind of raw animal products. All right, so here we go, feeding it up. And it's crazy because I hardly ever cook with active dry yeast, so you can really smell it, and it just has that like doughy smell that just reminds you of a delicious pastry. So yeah, I'm just gonna beat this up for about a minute, and then we're gonna add some, I have to check the recipe again, but I know we're gonna add some flour, nutmeg, some lemon zest, I think, maybe some powdered sugar, I can't remember. But yeah, so we'll just do this, and then we'll check back in. Okay, so next we're going to be adding 4.5 cups of all-purpose flour. The recipe said bleached. I couldn't find bleached And I don't think it really makes a difference. Really, it's just the color. So I'm just using unbleached all-purpose flour. 4.5 cups of that. 2 teaspoons of salt. 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. And then 1 teaspoon of lemon zest. So we'll do that. If I can get this bag open. All right, so 4.5 cups. I'm going to use the quarter cupper just because it's easier to get in there. So we're going to be doing some math again. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1 cup. 2, 2, 3, 4. That's 2 cups. 3, 2. 3, 4, that's 3 cups. Almost there, guys. 4, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 cups, and now one more half cup. So, 1. And last but not least, guys, we're almost there. 2. 4.5 cups, baby. Oh yeah. Okay. So now we're gonna do 2 teaspoons of nutmeg, which I'm kind of struggling a little bit here. I might need a knife or like scissors, because also I don't want to hurt myself. I might have to get my camera guy to help. Hold that thought. So I ended up actually just using a knife very carefully to open it up. So now we're gonna do, smells good. It actually kind of smells like fall. We're going to add 2 teaspoons of nutmeg. So this is a 1/4 teaspoon. So we're gonna do 8 of these. 2, 3, what? 4. All right, 1 teaspoon. Oh my God. 2, 2, 3, 4, and that's 2 teaspoons. Oh my gosh, this is like all the pieces are coming everywhere. That's actually gonna make it easier to use. And so now we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of salt. So usually when I'm doing salt, I will say, that 5 turns is like a 1/4 teaspoon. So we'll do 20 turns. Okay. Next, we're gonna do about a teaspoon of lemon zest, which I'm gonna kind of eyeball that a little bit by just using this. So first, I'm just gonna rinse and dry the lemon, and then I will grate it into the bowl. So this technically is not a lemon zester, it's really a grater, but it was the best thing that I could find at the store. So we're gonna just try this out and do the best that we can. Oh wow, it's actually working. So we're doing a teaspoon, which I feel like is just gonna be the zest from about 1 lemon. And this is something that, like, with baking, I think it's okay if you are not like perfectly on the spot with the amount. Ooh, it smells really good. Yeah, this is actually working way better than I was expecting. So I guess you could call this a lemon zester. All right. I'd say that's about a teaspoon. Now I'm just gonna mix this all up. Now remember, we're not using a stand mixer, so we still wanna make sure that everything is like really well incorporated. And wow, this smells really good. This is one of those things that we might end up having to go in with our hands to mix up, just because getting all the flour like incorporated, kind of like when I made those chocolate chip cookies. If you want to watch how to make my chocolate chip cookies, you can check my playlist channel below. And similar thing, I did not have a stand mixer then. But yeah, that's when we like to go in with our hands. So I'm actually thinking I'm gonna do that now. And we're just gonna kind of like knead it and get everything incorporated. Oh my god, guys, it just smells like dough. Like nothing smells better than just like bread dough, which is basically what this is. Alright, so I'll see you guys back here in a few minutes once this is all incorporated. Gaga incorporated. Alright, so the dough is formed. It might not be as well incorporated as it would be with a stand mixer, so I definitely recommend doing that if you have one. But it looks, it looks like dough, so that's a good sign, right? So we're gonna add about a teaspoon of pure vegetable oil. Crisco is the good stuff. They had that here at the Airbnb actually, so we're just gonna put about a teaspoon in the bottom of this clean bowl. And then I'm going to actually transport the dough into the bowl, and we want to get that covered with olive oil, or sorry, not olive oil, the vegetable oil on all sides. So it's like coated, and then we want to form it into like a ball of dough, which I think I probably did a little bit. I'm gonna actually like pour out the excess oil now. Then we're just gonna like form it into a ball. And now we're gonna cover the bowl with plastic wrap, and then we're gonna let it rise for 2 hours. All right, we'll be back soon. All right, so now that it's in the bowl, I'm going to put some plastic wrap. Let me just take off this first piece. Put some plastic wrap over the top, and then we're gonna keep it in a warm, draft-free place, which this like house is pretty warm and draft-free. So we're going to just cover it and then let it sit until it doubles in size, about 2 hours. So in the meantime, we're definitely gonna clean up all this mess that I've created, and then probably take a shower and just kind of like relax for the next 2 hours. My dad is gonna make us some omelets for dinner, and yeah, just kind of hang out. So I will check back with you guys in about 2 hours once this ball of goodness has doubled in size. Dun, dun, dun. You gotta be on it, always. It's been about 1 hour, and you see it is a rising, the dough. So we've got about an hour more, and Papa Steven is making us some omelets. And yeah, it's gonna be good. All right, guys, welcome back. So, as you can see, the dough has basically filled the entire bowl. It's definitely risen a lot. So in the meantime, or it's pretty much ready to go, but it's been about 2 hours, but we could definitely have made the filling, like if you didn't want to be waiting or whatever, but we were enjoying a nice dinner. So now we're going to make the filling, which I've had this cream cheese out on the counter for about 2 hours or longer, probably about 4 hours. You want it to be room temperature. We're going to be mixing this with, not this one, powdered sugar or confectioner's sugar to make the filling. So to make the filling, we're gonna put 1 pound, so that's gonna be like one of these 2 packs of the 8 ounces. 16 ounces equals 1 pound. So we're gonna do 1 pound of the softened cream cheese mixed with 1 cup of confectioner's sugar or powdered sugar. Now with king cakes, there's a variety of different fillings that you can do. Some people like to do like a cinnamon pecan filling. My personal favorite is the cream cheese filling. And then with that, my old boss, Carla, used to make like all these different flavors. And my personal favorite was always blueberry. Now, I couldn't find blueberry like pie filling from a can, which is what I'm pretty sure, is the best thing to put in there. But I got this wild blueberry jam. So once we put the cream cheese filling in, we're gonna like put a little bit of this on top, so when it bakes, it's gonna like ooze and melt together, and it's gonna be delicious. So that will be for later. So I just put the pound of cream cheese into the bowl, and now I'm gonna add 1 cup of powdered sugar. I'm pretty sure confectioner sugar and powdered sugar are the same thing. So we're just gonna add that, and then I'm gonna mix it all together until it's all incorporated. And just be careful when you when you're doing this that you're not like spraying sugar everywhere. Also, you can definitely use either a hand mixer or a stand mixer here to make the stirring process easier. So I'm just gonna mix this all up. Then we're gonna roll out the dough. We're gonna create the base of the king cake, and then we're gonna fill it. So now I've got the filling right here, the cream cheese filling. It looks and smells decadent. We've got the dough right here. I'm gonna come over here and I'm just gonna line a baking sheet with parchment paper. So, just like that. I actually don't know if I've ever really used parchment paper, but this is probably fine. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, so I have wipe the counter down. I'm just gonna put a little flour out onto the counter, not too much, but you know, just enough so to where the dough is not gonna stick on there. So that should be good. This is my little workstation. And now I'm gonna take this giant thing of dough, flip it over. Wow, look at that. It's like a perfectly round. And I'm just gonna, oh my gosh, it's like kind of fun to touch. Now I'm just gonna take it and I'm gonna form it into a rectangle. Now the recipe said to make it about 30 inches long, and I think it said 6 inches wide probably. So, you know, I'm just gonna kind of like knead it out, because what's gonna happen is we're gonna put the filling, fold it in half, and then it needs to be formed into a ring. So we wanna make sure that it gets worked out enough. So I'm just gonna be doing this. And overall, I would say that this recipe is pretty easy. I will definitely, you know, if it turns out well, I would make it again, and I would make it with different kinds of fillings, and then you can give it to your friends or family or whatever. And the tradition, you know, well, I'll get to that part later actually, in case anyone doesn't know. But that looks about right. Okay, I'm gonna say that that's about correct. I would say that's about 30 inches. And this would be, well, I don't know. I think it's about right. Who knows? Okay, so I was wrong. So it is supposed to be 30 inches long, which it seems to be getting there, but only 6 inches wide. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna fold this in and then like bring it all out to make it longer. Now, this is starting to look more like a rectangle and less like a square. All right, so I'm just gonna work it out a little bit more, and then we're gonna get to filling. So, as you can see, this is definitely longer and more narrow than it was the first time I showed you guys. So just keep working it out until it does come to, this is about 26 inches long. You know, it's basically, it's almost precise. Now, time to fill. So the first step is we're gonna take the cream cheese filling and we're just gonna spread it lengthwise along the bottom half of the pastry. Try to be careful, like I just kind of toward just a little bit, but just be careful. And this is what's gonna really make it like, it's gonna bake into it and it's just gonna ooze, and it's like a cheese Danish almost. Okay, so I'm just gonna almost done here. All right, I kind of want to try this. Should I? All right, so this next step, this is in the recipe that Carla sent me. This part is not included, but I just remember from seeing her make all the different king cakes over the years that you can do the different flavors. So this is when you can get creative. You could add like cinnamon on here, you can add nuts, you can add cherry. I think I've seen cherry, apple, any kind of like pie filling, you can do that flavor on here. So I'm just gonna put some blueberry jam, and my hands are kind of greasy from earlier. Okay, so my camera guy did open this for me, and as you can see, we're just using blueberry jam, which blueberry's always been my favorite flavor. Cherry's probably second. This is, watch out. This is total improvisation because I've never seen anyone use jam before, but I just have a feeling this is gonna taste good, and I can actually see the little blueberry pieces in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of like spread it along just on top. And you know, you don't have to put like a ton, just like a little bit. All right. Okie doke. Now we're gonna close it up. All right, I'm gonna roll up my sleeves for this part. Got them rolled up. And what we're gonna do is now we're gonna take the top half and we're gonna fold it over so all that goodness gets tucked away inside. And now we're gonna pinch it all the way, and just kind of be careful also that it doesn't, you wanna pinch it to where the filling gets enclosed into the dough. You don't want it like oozing out yet. You can see, if you wanna get closer and see how I'm just kind of like closing it in. And then I'm also gonna pinch it in on the sides where you just want all of that goodness. Oh, this side's a little cream cheese coming out. I'm gonna come over here and I'm just gonna fold that in also and just pinch it in. So yeah, everything is secure and we are moving along. Okay, so I've got the seam over here, but what we want to do when we bake it, we want the seam to be on the bottom. So this is going to be kind of the tricky part, but I'm actually like putting it seam side down and then forming it into a ring. And this is what makes it a king cake, because it looks like a crown. And then we don't want there to be a seam. So I'm pinching the dough together here now to make sure that that's connected. And then I'm kind of like pushing it down. And I'm just gonna kind of like play with it a little bit until it's all combined. Look at that. Okay, now it's time to insert the baby. Okay, so the fun part with this is that traditionally there will be a baby, like a little baby, inside of the king cake. And so when you're eating it with your family or your friends or whoever you're enjoying it with, whoever gets the slice that has the baby gets to wear the crown for the rest of the night. And then they are in charge of making the king cake for the Mardi Gras celebration the following year. So this is just like a fun tradition. And yeah, so we don't have, you can use like a little plastic baby. Some people would put like a little coin or something. Or you can put, Carla actually said you can put like a pecan half if you want. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna put a little pinto bean in there. So, just a little baby. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna insert it from the bottom of the king cake so no one is gonna know where it is. So I'm gonna try to be careful doing this because I really don't wanna ruin it. But I'm just gonna pop it in there. All right, there we go. Now I've gotta move this onto the baking sheet. So I think I'm actually gonna bring the baking sheet over here. All right, so this is the, oh, okay, so hold on. You wanna make sure that this is definitely combined because this is kinda currently not. See, these two pieces kind of keep falling apart. Maybe if I do it like this, it'll be better. Okay, I think that's better. All right. Handle with care. Handle it like a baby. And there we go. All right. Now I'm gonna cover it with plastic wrap, and then we get to let it sit for another 45 minutes so that it can rise even more. And then we're gonna bake. So you know that in Gaga's kitchen, we like to clean as we go. So I'm just doing the dishes while we let it, the dough rise. And then we're gonna maybe watch some more home improvement TV with my pops over there. You can go take a look at pops. All right, so the king cake has been resting for about 45 minutes. Meanwhile, I did have the oven preheating, so it's preheated to 350 degrees. And it says, you know, that it should double in size. I wouldn't say that it's doubled in size, but I think it has risen a little bit. But I mean, it's been 45 minutes, so I think that's a safe bet. Before we stick it in the oven, we are going to, I'm loosely gonna measure this, but it's 2 tablespoons of milk that we just are gonna like brush over the top. So I'm just gonna be kind of careful with this. Just gonna kind of like, oh! If I had one of those brushes, it would have been better, probably. But I'm just gonna kind of like, we're just putting that in there. It's gonna give it a little moisture. All right. Okay, so next, I'm just gonna stick this in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes. And just because some of the parchment or the milk kind of like soaked onto the parchment paper, I just decided I'm gonna just put, just because I don't want it to burn in the oven, I'm just gonna transport this, oh God. Transport it. One more time. It smells really good. I can smell like the sweetness from the dough and the blueberry and the cream cheese. All right, so we're good. I'm gonna stick it in for 25 to 30 minutes. And now set the timer for 25 minutes. We'll check back in 25 minutes. All right, guys, 6 more seconds. It is smelling good. Oh my goodness. All right, it's been 25 minutes. Wow. Oh, now that is a king cake. It looks like a giant bagel almost. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's definitely ready. So I'm gonna turn off the oven. Okay, so as you can see, I have changed into my pajamas because it is 1 o'clock in the morning here in Tennessee. Definitely, you know, it's a drawn out process and we started to do it pretty late in the day. So the directions say to wait for the cake to cool completely before you ice it. So what we've decided to do is we're just going to let it, we're gonna let it cool overnight. So I'll probably just put like a towel or something over it. And then tomorrow morning, I'm gonna show you guys how to make the icing. We're gonna ice it, we're gonna do the colorful sprinkles, and then we're gonna bring it over to the rest of the family and we'll let everyone try it and then see who gets the baby. Good morning and welcome back to Gaga's Kitchen. So today we are actually going to be driving back to Atlanta, but before we do that, we need to check in on the king cake. And look how good it's looking. We had let it cool overnight, so it is all in there, all the filling, the goodness. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna ice it, and then we're gonna drive it down the mountain to see some of our family where they'll get to try the king cake. So all that we need for the icing is we just need powdered sugar, some whole milk, and some lemon juice. Now the recipe says 3 tablespoons of milk at room temperature, 3 cups of powdered sugar, and 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. So I'm kind of eyeballing all of this just because the only bowl that I have left is a little smaller. So we're gonna kind of do it in increments. So I'm gonna start with 1 cup of powdered sugar first. It's probably about a cup. A little bit of milk. 1 tablespoon. And we're gonna mix it together, and I'm kind of just gonna do that until we have the total amount of icing. And then I'll add the juice from 1 lemon, which should equal around 3 tablespoons. So I've just been slowly adding the powdered sugar in with the milk, and you kind of just want it to be like a thicker consistency like this. So I think now I'm gonna add the lemon juice, and then I'll probably add some more powdered sugar, and then we're gonna put that all over the cake. So this is gonna be like a delicious lemon flavored icing. And I'd say after this, it's probably gonna be ready. All right, time to try, and then we're gonna ice the cake.
Go.
Okay, so now this is the time that if you have a rubber spatula, you could use that to spread the icing over. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just kind of using a big spoon, and I'm kind of just gonna drizzle this all over the cake. Ooh, wow. Wow, guys. This is gonna be so good. I just can't even get over it. All right, cover that in icing. Okay, so last but certainly not least is what kind of makes it a king cake, is we're gonna add the sprinkles. So we've got traditionally 3 colors: purple, which stands for justice, green, which stands for faith, and gold, which stands for power. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna kind of sprinkle them on in alternating colors all the way around, and this is what makes it really fun. So we got purple, green, gold, okay, so I'm just going to continue adding some more sprinkles just to make the sprinkles a little bit thicker. And then after that, I'm going to just let the whole cake sit for a little bit because there is icing pooling in the middle. So I just want to let the icing and everything sit for a little bit while we finish getting ready to leave the house, and then I will transport it into another container right before we go and head down the mountain. Okay, so we have transported it to another makeshift container. Look how beautiful this is. You see it's really looking like a full ring. And we're gonna take it to the car. It's a little windy outside, so we're gonna try not to, let this cake blow away in the wind. Keep it nice and protected. Try not to fall down the stairs while I'm doing this.
vacation. We got back to Atlanta late last night, and I am here for the rest of the week, just seeing family and friends and things. I apologize, we did not get any footage of the first try of the king cake back in Tennessee. It was just kind of hectic. There's a baby involved, there's just a lot of people and a dog. Well, not just any dog. It's Diego. Say hello. Yep, say hello. Yeah, so Diego was with us too. But anyway, I didn't get any footage of the first try, but I will tell you that it was a big hit. We're not quite sure where the baby is because we left some of the king cake in Tennessee for my brother and his family, and I believe that it is in there. So I'm gonna show you what we have left because we ended up eating some more when we got back to Atlanta too. This is what is left of the king cake. And I'm definitely going to be enjoying some with my morning coffee because it doubles as a great pastry. We also did take some pictures, so we're going to post what the pictures of the final product look like and like what that first delicious like slice tastes like. So here I am. I'm going to try to actually like be productive today, probably go to a yoga class, and then I'm seeing one of my best friends later. So I'll check back in when I'm eating my slice and let you guys know what I think. Hey guys, I am back. So I'm actually just, the camera's kind of a little low, but I'm just waiting for my dad to get back so he can take me to my friend's house. And in the meantime, I'm going to have a slice of a king cake. So I've already tried this a couple times, but I think like each time I've had it, it tastes a little better because the longer it sits, the flavors almost like absorb even more. So I haven't had any today, so I bet it's gonna be really good. Oh my goodness. This is bringing me straight back to Lusa Pastry Cafe in Oxford, Mississippi. I remember one time I was training a new employee and it was like a slow afternoon and there was no one in there, and so we basically just like sat around and ate king cake and drank coffee. And I remember she was like, wait, is this what it's like to work here? And I was like, pretty much, except for on the crazy weekends. But literally tasting this right now is just bringing me straight back there. And it is so good. Like it's like a lemony, blueberry, cream cheesy, doughy, sprinkly goodness of everything. So I would definitely recommend making this at home. I am gonna paste the recipe down below in the description. So make sure you guys check it out. And if you end up making it, please send it to me. You can send pictures to me. You can find me on Instagram at gaga_1992_. You can send me your pictures there. You can send us on YouTube in the Messenger or on our Facebook page, Welch Productions. Feel free to send them there too. We want to see the variations that you make. You can make cream cheese with blueberry. You can ex-nade the cream cheese, just do like a cinnamon pecan filling, whatever you guys want to do. But yeah, we want to see what you do. I will definitely be making this again next year, and next time I might even make two because it's going quickly and I would have liked to be able to give it to more people. So anyway, thanks so much for coming along on this journey with me, and I hope you enjoy your king cake. Bye.